This is my presentation for my project, the use of video in website production for CI601. So I'm going to demonstrate the website and sort of talk about some of the aspects of it. So I'll just show you the website first. So I tried to implement everything that I spoke about in my report and in my research. I've tried to implement that throughout the website. So I'll talk about that more bit by bit. So there's about 6 parts to this. So to begin with, there's this hero image, or not image, hero video. And here I wanted to show off how you could use it as sort of a home screen. You quite often see some websites where it's a home screen, large video that's just sort of looped. So yeah, I've got this here, and this is a sourced video. So it's actually not installed, sorry. It's on the server, so it goes straight from the server. It is an MP4, but it was originally a .mov, which I spoke about in my report as not a particularly great file format for videos on websites because only Apple really supports it. And yeah, I had to convert it over, but you can see it's as I said in the report, it's a very high quality format. So when I converted it to MP4, it did remain with pretty much all the quality, so it looks very good. Yeah, but the video is free of use. So I can use it. I can use commercially if I wanted. Like everything throughout the website is free of use. Use it however you want, really. I think, yeah, everything's free of use and commercial use as well. So this is the embedded videos, as opposed to this was the source videos. So as I said in the report, the embedded video is very simple. It's very little code. You just go on whatever you're using, click share, and generally you'll see an embedded option, and you go from there. It works really, really well. So you typically see this on like tutorial websites, like a cooking website, for example. You see it on there because you have the recipe, a written recipe with everything. Then quite often you'll have an actual person in a video showing how to do it. So it's quite useful being used that way. And like as you can see here, it just plays. It's like you've got YouTube on the website. You can use this to go and view it on website itself, but our YouTube itself. But yeah, it works perfectly fine here. You can full screen it, and all that stuff, and yeah, it works very well. It's you obviously I had it just now, so it wasn't playing to begin with, so I hadn't gone on the website and it's playing. But you can make so it automatically starts, which I guess you can find a use for that somewhere. But more common than not, it's you press to start. This wouldn't be used for something like hero image here because you have to actually stream it through another site, so another server. It quite often slows down the speed of the website loading because you have to get not only the data from the website server you're on, but as well as the YouTube server as well. So it's two locations you're getting it from, so it slows down quite a lot. So that's why you use a source video up here opposed to the embedded, although the embedded's a lot more simple. This is the parallax scrolling, which I showed in the report. Here I did have a slight issue when I was making it. It was a design issue because this was meant to be. So I was trying to show storytelling here. So I said here like night to day. So up here, it's the ocean, nighttime, and down here you see it's daytime. But it was meant to be day to night, but unfortunately it just sort of didn't look right, being the light one. So I changed to night to day, which I think works fine still. But yeah, this is very useful, Parallax. It's a nice sort of feature to add to websites. You see it in loads of different ways. It's a very simple way of using it, but you quite often get it to where you'll have the body of the website will be a large block in the middle, and the sides will have a video behind it, like this. So where you scroll down, you'll see the content on the sides, on either side. You may have seen a very complicated method of this, where it's done using applications, and you essentially scroll through an application, and rather than this just a video obviously going on, whereas that is actually stuff's happening as you scroll, depending on how far you scroll. So if you scroll down, say a box will open, and then stuff will come out, and you scroll back up, all the stuff you put back in the box, etc. Yeah, it's very, very cool. It's more of a new use of video within websites. This hasn't been used until probably the past 5-10 years, because I don't think it's really impossible, and not to a decent level anyway. Here's the GIFs. So these are embedded GIFs. So just like the YouTube video, you add it just like that. But yes, these are embedded onto the websites. So in a sense, are streaming, but as they're so tiny, being GIFs and everything, they take very little time to load. As you can see, there's this overlay that appears when you hover over it, and this is because of the website I got from Giphy. They allow you free use for everything, but if you embed, they do include this overlay onto their GIFs, which it's okay. It does cause problems sometimes with the mobile version, which I'll get into in a little bit. And then this is the GIF infographics, which I spoke about. So the infographics are very useful because it gives this sort of visual motion of doing stuff. So it's not just a static picture. And I did this using a free website called Data GIF Maker, which is it's a Google made website. It's fairly new. I think it's just under a year old, so it's only got the 3 templates to use at the moment, but it's very useful. Like, I made this in no more than 5 minutes, and you can see it's just sort of much more interesting just looking at a static picture, and you sort of add some video to it. And yeah, as you see, I've added the stats here of information you see stays in your head 65% of the time, whereas 35% of the time, for the other 2 reasons, it doesn't. And I got that from this source down here. But yeah, that was very interesting. It relates to the project, as obviously I'm trying to make the point of everything being quite visual with video and everything like that. So back up to the top. So I've made this responsive, so I could show off all these other features. So we've got the iPads. So iPads quite easy to make responsive. Obviously, this is not a overly complicated layout for a website, so it will differ depending on the website. But in terms of the video responds quite well to being on iPad rather than a desktop. The only issue really is that with the videos, for the hero image anyway, as it's so large, it has to be very high quality, and if it's quite a zoomed in image, or with large things quite close up to where the camera is, it can make the video look quite distorted and low quality when you get onto the lower sizes, which I'll show here. So as you can see here, it's more zoomed in now. So if it was something that was closer, it wouldn't look as high quality, especially as you're looking at a small device. You're more focused on it. So it's important when I was looking for the videos here, I had to find something that was very high quality, which yeah, is sometimes quite hard, especially when you're looking for royalty-free stuff that you can use with anything. So this is I did it with 1080p to begin with, so it worked. Obviously, this 1080p, and the iPad was 1024, so it's not too much smaller. So that's why it does respond quite well to this. Obviously, there's a few things like the gaps, but I thought that was acceptable. Because you don't want to make it too small, especially as I'm trying to showcase it. But yeah. So next, so we go onto one of the phones. So this is where it does start to get harder with making the videos work, because you have to conflict it to that sort of a more vertical screen rather than horizontal, which you get on the iPads and the desktop. So with those, because it's horizontal, you've got a lot more space to really use the video. Whereas with vertical, it's very narrow, and you have to make sure that whatever you're trying to capture in the video is captured properly through both horizontal and vertical, and it resizes properly. So with this, let me just get this up. I have it resizing on the actual video. So when it gets to this point, it resizes to fit the height rather than the width, which it was before. So that's why it's in the middle, fitting the height. The videos and everything still work perfectly fine here. You do, obviously this is on a mouse keyboard, but when you're using on a mobile, the full screen button does work. It doesn't work on Chrome using the dev tools. Unfortunately, I can't show you that, but yeah, it works perfectly fine, just the same as you would any other YouTube video on your phone. Really, it's straight in and it just works automatically. This is sort of what I was on about with the videos not always sizing up properly. I think this is just about acceptable, because as you can see, it's obviously it's zoomed in more, so you're not seeing the same aspect as, so before we were seeing, this wide ocean, just the scene of openness, whereas with the phone, if you're looking at this point, all you can see is the sea, or it's all you can see, and it does limit the aspect of what you can see quite a lot. But it's all depends on finding the right video for the website. So quite often, not making, but going out and actually capturing your own video for a website is quite good, because then you can get exactly what you need rather than using videos found online. The GIFs worked really well resizing. They were done using they were just done using normal sizing on CSS and everything. So you simply just change the size for this size. So yeah, I've got the media query on the right hand side. So I changed it to 150 by 150, and that overruled the previous one. But yeah, so like I said, this is obviously vertical, so I had to also change the way it was laid out. So rather than laying out across, they lay it out on layers instead. The overlay does sort of just take you to the website when you're on a mobile, which can be a little irritating, because you obviously, as you can see, it causes issues like this where it takes a little chunk out of your GIF. But I can't expect many people are clicking on the GIFs. And obviously, this is just one website that does this. They are the main people who supply free to use GIFs, but not all place use. Especially if you, I could have source downloaded this, and that would have saved having this issue. But instead, I wanted to embed it to show off that feature of it. Again, the infographic resized very well. Plays like normal. This is just, yeah, it's sourcing from the from the server. Yes, everything does respond quite well with the videos. They don't freak out other than the parallax sort of making it a bit more difficult, but everything else, yeah, it does resize very well. And then I spoke about this in my reports, but I'll show here as well. So the network feature is very useful because you can see exactly how long everything takes. So if I do a fresh refresh of the page, you can see that in just over a second everything's loaded. And using this, you can see how long, which things were the longest to load in. So here, Google Analytics. So this is not to do with our website. This is something that all websites have. This here. So it does change depending on what you're looking at. You see the embedded GIFs down here. These took almost the least amount of time. So the most amount of time, and that is because they are embedded. And this one, yes, but you can see all the information that I spoke about on my report. You can see here in the network, which is very useful because sometimes you will have a specific video that will just slow down your computer completely, which is obviously not good because obviously different users have different computers, and you need to adjust the website to work for pretty much everyone, really. It's not good to have it so it's not working for some people. But yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you.